Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Buforge Tax Preparation, Bravos Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Monzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It's Saturday all day long, and I couldn't be happier. It's a good day to have a Saturday. I hope everybody's doing great today. It is Saturday, July 19. We're over the hump of July. August is around the corner, and before you know it, we'll be celebrating Day of the Dead. Oh, I don't know if that makes me happy or nervous or what, but time flies when you're having fun. I hope you have great plans for this weekend. I know I have some good plans. Let me get these news set up so that we can get started with our news section. Before I do that, as always, I welcome you to use a capital letter Q if you want your comments to stand out in the comment section. Use a capital letter N if you're watching for the first time and you would like a nice little friendly welcome from the cluster. Okay, now I'm ready. Let's see. News. Here we go. Yes. We start with this one. City Hall organized a meeting. This is the third meeting organized by City Hall, led by Juan Pablo Martinez Torres. And this was a meeting with residents and business owners from the Malecón area. And the meeting's purpose is to allow for the discussion of their proposals, suggestions, and issues in order to work together to improve the Malecón. Of course, the goal is to continue seeking solutions to improve the image of the Malecón, which, as we know, is, an essential part of our city. This goes hand to hand with this survey that we announced yesterday. If you didn't take a chance to go to the show notes yesterday, you can do so today. I'm going to leave the survey link in the show notes again, because I think it's really important for everyone to chime in on this survey produced by our city as to all kinds of aspects that have to do with the Malecón, whether you feel safe or unsafe, what are the areas you consider that should be improved, and of course, the very important question, should traffic be allowed on the Malecón again? Feel free to comment on this, but more importantly, feel free to follow the survey and fill out the survey, which is ultimately more useful for everyone. Moving right along, Mayor Munguía acknowledged that we have a problem with 3 local beaches that are polluted and not fit for swimming. He emphasized that coordinated work between the City Council and the Department of Health is needed to improve the conditions of beaches currently deemed unfit for bathers. In an interview with the media, the mayor of Puerto Vallarta emphasized, and I quote, "We have a major task ahead of us, citizens and authorities at all 3 levels of government, to improve the conditions of these beaches." And for me, the takeaway is not what the mayor said. It is the fact that the mayor made a statement. I'm trying to remember if in past administrations it was the mayors who acknowledged there is a problem, and I can't remember that ever happening. Usually it's a lower level employee who responds to these kinds of issues. So in my mind, I could be wrong, but in my mind, it is a good thing to have the highest level of government in our city acknowledging these situations. And this one also made me very happy this morning. The Cinco de Diciembre market underwent a thorough cleaning thanks to a campaign launched by Mayor Munguía aimed at providing clean and safe public spaces for locals and tourists. A team of approximately 50 people, including vendors, market staff, and volunteers, joined forces to carry out this initiative. I'm not a regular shopper at this market because it's not necessarily close to my home, but if you are, and if you've noticed some improvements, it would be great to read your comments. This one also makes me very happy. The headline, Vallarta Cares Could Use Some Help, is something that I wrote based on this article that I found on Banderas News. And what I like about this particular article is that, you know, everybody needs some help. And certainly our local nonprofit organizations are no exception. But what is beautiful about this article is that it is very specific in terms of what kind of help the organization needs, and how the people that they're looking for would be using their time and expertise to improve Vallarta Care. So how nice to see an article where somebody looks for help, but is also being very specific about the kind of help that could make a difference. So keep that in mind. All the details are in the article, which of course was published by Banderas News. And here's another one that made me feel good. While I'm not very familiar with the current fire situation in Canada, I'm happy and proud to learn that the third group of Mexican firefighter volunteers left Guadalajara for Saskatchewan to join the efforts to combat forest fires. 40 Mexican firefighters were on the flight, along with 64 specialists from Chile. That is good news. And another good news, meet the casquito turtle. Casquito is diminutive for casco, which means helmet. And this lovely little creature is thus called because of that characteristic yellow spot on the head. It is a unique species of tiny turtles endemic to Puerto Vallarta, and it is in serious danger of extinction. A few months ago, a number of specimens were stolen from the local campus of the Guadalajara University, and the good news here is that the thief has been identified, apprehended, and prosecuted, and I thought you would like to know. Tómala. And with that said, let us switch over to our weather forecast just to see what's going on out there in the world. Oh, did you know that most cats don't actually hate Mondays? Question mark. That's what Snarky Weather has to say today. It is 28 degrees, whatever. 28 degrees right now. Humidity is at 73%. Our weather forecast for today indicates that we're going to have partly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of only 11%, a high of 32, and a low of 23. Then tomorrow, mostly clear skies in the morning, with thunderstorms in the afternoon, with a chance of rain of 39%, a high of 33, and a low of 24. And finally, on Monday, we can expect a humid day with mostly clear skies, but a few clouds may be wandering around. There's a low chance of rain, again, only 38%, a high temperature of 33, and a low temperature of 24. Moving right along. Yes, the Marías Islands. Remember the Marías Islands? We talked about this for a long time. Back in 2022, these are the 3 islands located off the coast of Nayarit and declared a biosphere reserve by UNESCO. They have opened their doors to tourism since December of 2022. This island destination, which used to be a prison, now offers a unique experience combining ecotourism, history, and tranquility. And this article is just a reminder that the islands are there, that there are vacation packages that range between 5,400 pesos and 15,000 pesos. These are all inclusive packages. Of course, the article has failed to mention where you go and learn more information, but we did our homework and we are going to feature the article in this in the show notes this morning. If I recall correctly, you can get there from Mazatlan. Is it Mazatlan or San Blas? I forget. But there are ferries that will get you to the Maria Islands. Yes, it is San Blas. Well, okay, don't quote me, but you can take ferries. And once you get to the island, there's all kinds of activities that you can do. And the only thing that has been sketchy for me is the accommodations. Once you get there, where do you stay? Who do you sleep with? I mean, the website had not been very specific, but I'll be the first person to admit I haven't visited the website in a long time. So maybe it's time to revisit this idea because I still would love to see this place at some point. If anybody has been, please feel free to share your comments with us. Now, another one of these reminders before we head over to our chit chat section. Why not?
What do Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, and Smokey Robinson have in common? They all came out of one place, Detroit, Michigan, Hitsville, USA. In the middle of the civil rights era, one man, Berry Gordy, built a musical empire with a simple mission: make music so good it breaks every barrier. From street corners to global stages, Motown wasn't just a record label. It was the sound of young America. Join Paco Ojeda for Stop in the Name of Soul, an engaging, music-filled presentation featuring 10 iconic recordings that tell the story of Motown's rise, its revolution, and its rhythm. Expect legends, expect stories, expect goosebumps. Stop in the Name of Soul will take place at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Thursday, July 24th at 5 p.m. Tickets are 300 pesos cash, available at the reception. Seating is limited. Get yours early.
Yes. Let's see. I have a reflection that I want to make, and I think I want to make this reflection right now before we begin with our chit chat section. Indulge me, please. It is Saturday. You know, this week and last week, between my post on Facebook that had to do with paying in Mexico with US currency, and the video that I shared on our Facebook wall of that very nice man in a hijic that had to do with behavior of some English speakers here in Mexico. It's been an interesting exercise in terms of reading your reactions and your comments. I've had to do some damage control to ensure that we can keep this environment that we share as nurturing and provide and productive and inspiring as possible. Don't get me wrong, it's not about all of us having the same opinion. I love differences of opinion because different opinions invite dialogue and invite increased awareness of what's going on. And I've come to realize that the challenge for me, and you can make it your challenge if you want, is we're all going to feel the need and want to complain about something. The challenge is, how do we rephrase our public comments and make them nurturing and make them positive? That is a challenge. And there are some comments out there that I'm just letting them be. But I think moving forward, I may invite you, if you comment on the Facebook wall, I may invite you to, okay, think about what you just wrote and try to reframe it in a way that sounds positive and nurturing. I'm not perfect at that. I fail very frequently, but that is going to be what I'm going to continue to do. And I invite you to partner with me on that. And that's my little commentary of the day. Now, let's take a look at your comments. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see what we have. Lots of good mornings. Thank you very much. Oh, Susan, all I'm going to say is atta girl. Yes, 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 yes. I'm having neurofeedback today with Stan, and I can't wait. Mary says, speaking of Day of the Dead, we're planning to be in Puerto Vallarta in November. Can't wait. Of course, that is wonderful. I'm going to be doing my Day of the Dead presentations just like last year, and I'm going to be doing my Mexican independence presentations just like last year, and I'm excited about that. Ooh, what a great combo. Cumbia music. You know, Devin, I've not made a music appreciation presentation about cumbia yet. But cumbia is not only great music, but it makes your hips move. It's inevitable. So if we ever come around to doing a music appreciation presentation on cumbia, I think we will make some hip gyration a requirement from everybody that attends. Yes, let's do that. Let's see. Any idea of why traffic was removed from the Malecón to begin with? You know, I forget. But I think it was Dávalos who tried to rescue the Malecón and make it pedestrian friendly, following the pattern in other cities. I personally love the fact that the Malecón does not have any traffic. I do remember at the time that all the businesses in front of the Malecón were not happy about this. And I do remember, for example, efforts by the Garden Club to add more green to the Malecón and plant large jacaranda trees in front of some of the businesses. And the businesses were like, no, whoa, don't do that. You're blocking our ocean view. So in short, Claude, I don't remember why it happened. And I think it's one of those issues that is always going to have divided opinions, especially now that the city has grown. I mean, it's been quite a few years since the Malecón was closed, and the vehicular traffic load in the city has just increased and increased and increased. So there's always traffic. So I can definitely see the value of reopening the Malecón to vehicular traffic. But I don't like it. I don't like it. It'll be really interesting to see what comes out of the city based on the input that we provide, if it's taken into account. Let's see what else. Many hellos, many hellos. I appreciate that very much. And yes, this is feel good news, and that's what we aim for. Yes, firefighters. And again, Mary, thank you for letting us know. I am not following this one up close, but it's sad to see that this is one of the worst years ever. And I'm glad that it's being addressed. And I hope that people are successful. Laura asks about the casquito turtles. They are very rare. They only exist here in Puerto Vallarta. How freakish is that? To have a local species that only exists here. So every specimen is super, super valuable. And apparently the person or people that were trafficking these were sending them to some Asian country. I forget which one. So I'm very happy that this is being handled by the authorities. You know, I sure would like to visit the Marías Islands, but I would like clarity. I'm an old fart. You know, I don't subscribe to this notion of you're going to sleep in a house where you're going to share the house with people you don't know. You know, don't shoot me. I'm just weird that way. I want my own room, and I want that kind of comfort. You know, my days of going camping or going places and staying with other people. At the end of the day, I do want to know that I'm going to close the door and I'm going to stay where I'm staying. So, if I recall correctly, there are casas or places with several rooms in Islas Marias. So, if you're lucky to go with an entire group that will fill one of those casas, that's how you guarantee that you're only staying with your own crowd. I could be totally wrong, but that is my impression. I will research this again just to give you updated news. My goodness. Excuse me. But Bill, I haven't seen you in forever. I certainly hope that you guys are doing well. It's great to see your face, and it's great to say hello. Let's see what else we have. Para-pa-pa, para-pa-pa. Cumbia is most definitely happy music. Right? We don't use pesos in Canada or the USA. Linda says, no cars on the Malecón is great. It would be awful to reopen it. Oh, I hear you, Linda, and I'm totally on your side, but I can imagine the amount of pressure the local government must be under to reopen it, to let more cars go by. But at the end of the day, whether you go through the Malecón or you go through the parallel street, you're also always going to end up in front of City Hall. So there's always going to be a funnel effect. All I can say is it'll be interesting to see where things go moving forward. Let's see what else we have. Really, really would like to see Malecón remain pedestrian only. All I can tell you, Vicky, and for all of you that are chiming in, please take time to fill out the survey. The survey has no distinction of whether you are a local or Mexican or from another nationality. It just happens to be in Spanish. So if you can connect to your Google Translator or find a way to bridge your lack of knowledge of Spanish, if that is the case, please do it. Find somebody to translate it for you. I think it's really important to participate in this survey. Didn't a major storm precede the rebuilding of the Malecón? The roadway was lower, crowded with buses and cars dangerous to cross, full of gas fume, polluted air, storm flooded from time to time. Oh, I'm so happy to be able to read your comments with my new glasses. Yes, in case you haven't noticed, we have new glasses. I was getting a little blind 2 weeks ago. But getting back to your comment list, yes, that might be true. Again, it's been so long, I don't remember. Maybe it was one of those hurricanes that really damaged the Malecón. Honestly, I forget the chronology of it, but maybe it was that was the case, and the local government, hold on, and the local government decided, well, while we're looking at this, we might as well reconsider whether we want cars going down the Malecón or not. Has anyone been able to transfer money from Canada to Mexico via Wise? Asks Claude. I understand some people are having a challenge transferring money. So I'm sure that an answer to this question would be appreciated. Or maybe another way to look at it is what methods of money transfer are working for you from Canada to Mexico, given the ongoing investigations. A friend of mine who moved money from Intercam to another bank, a Mexican bank, was very happy, but has just been informed that I think it's Bancomer or maybe Banamex, I forget which bank. His money is also on hold because even though it's a Mexican well-established bank, they're having to do extra protocol for monies transferred from Intercam to other banks. So again, my heart is with anyone that is struggling to get access to your mula. And I will continue to look for comments on this matter, not only today, but in the future, as I'm sure that this is very important to those of you who are regularly transferring money. For the record, all the money that I get from Coffee and Headlines, it all comes from the United States. All the money that I get from YouTube comes from the United States. So I've also seen some delays in getting a hold of my money. So I certainly hear you. Here's an answer from Buceria's Rod Hardy. I use Wise every week with no issues via Scotia Bank. So I hope that response is helpful, Claude. And this is where we sign off. I'm going to get started with my weekend. And I thank you for another week. I hope you have a great weekend, whether you're in Puerto Vallarta or elsewhere. And I will see you again on Monday morning for more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. Have a good one.